All right, my loves. It says we're live, but y'all know me. I got to confirm. It's just been too many technical difficulties in this world over here. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. It says live here too, but I don't see us. I'm not convinced, damn it. Where we at? I think I can deal with that. The that was enough for me. Um, let's see though. I said it was enough, but it wasn't.
I
I'm
know.
not comforted, right? I'm not comforted. There we go. We're
Perfect.
here. Okay, perfect. All right, you guys. Hold on, because she was still trying to be talking. Anyways, welcome to the Carter Love Talk Show. I'm super excited to have Nikki here today.
Thank
Y'all
you.
know I like to talk about how we met. So we actually met in high school. We are friends from high school, and we actually are closer now than we were in high school. In high school, we were kind of like high and by friends, but
Yes.
over the years, we reconnected over social media, and we vibe really well together. We're always kind of like giving each other feedback on our small businesses, on parenting, on intuition, on journaling. We're both big on journaling. So I had to have her come on the show and share her knowledge with us today. Hi, Nikki.
Hi. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I watch, every time I see you, I'm like, we got to do something. We got to do something.
Yes. Yes.
So this
No,
is
an
perfect.
event together is coming. I know it's
Yes.
coming. I just don't know when. Okay.
Yes. Exactly. Well, that'll come when it comes, but it's
It
coming.
will. Yes, it's definitely coming. Maybe after I chop this video up into highlights, people gonna be like, "We need you guys back."
Can we see you in person?
Right. Saying Nikki. Workshops coming soon. Okay,
Yeah.
workshops coming
Journaling
soon.
workshops, all the
Yes.
good stuff.
So Nikki does a lot of intuitive writing. She's very, I call her the Northern Star. If you've seen the marketing for this episode, I'm like, that's what she is. Like, I just feel like that fits so well. And so, how did that come about for you? How did you start intuitive writing and how has it impacted your life?
First off, thank you for the Northern Star because that's so cute. When I saw that, I was like, oh, like my heart. So thank you. The way it started for me, it started almost on accident. So I didn't know what I was doing. I was in my early 20s and I was just kind of like, I would get stressed out and I'd be like, I'm gonna write. And I'm not gonna even think about what I'm writing. I'm just gonna write. And so it started like that. Like I would just write randomly, like all of these things. And then when I was 25, so this was going on for a few years. When I was 25, I went on a retreat and I had like a spiritual awakening, the first level. And
Yes,
so
level one.
level, yeah, exactly. Little did I know what was coming. But but I had the first level. And at the time, my business was around storytelling and email marketing and everything that had to do with writing. And it kind of all clicked. I was like writing, and then it turned to where like I would write in this free flow state and like messages would kind of come through on the page,
Yes,
right? And it would pivot like the way I'd be writing my own stuff, and then all of a sudden like it would change to like you topics, right? Like I feel
yes,
this and this and that, and then it was like you need to blah blah blah, you need to you need to stop worrying, or you need to step into this power or something like
yes,
that. And then that's when it kind of clicked and I was like, okay, this is like channeled writing, like this is, I'm
yes,
talking to like my higher self right now.
yes.
So that's really how that started. So then I started to play around with it more and I started asking questions in my paper. And so I started
Oh,
like what, like for business, right? Like should I launch coaching or a membership? Or I would ask like, why am I struggling with talking to high achieving women? I remember that was an interesting one I did. But I was like, why am I struggling with this? And the answer started to come, and from that and taking that, then I started to see like progression in things, uh,
yeah.
both in life and business. But yeah, it was just something I always did until I started to like play around with it, and I learned like about what like a higher self is, and connecting on to yourself on like a different level. And I started meditating. I didn't start meditating until I was 25 after the awakening, and then I would blend it with the writing, and that's when I started to really see like a difference in it.
Wow, that is powerful. So I have a similar experience, but with audio journaling. With my
Yeah.
writing, it was more like like my mind is scattered and now I'm scattering it on paper so then I can breathe, right?
Right,
But with
right.
audio journaling, it sounds a lot like that. I'm like, I'm talking to myself and then messages come and then I'm like, so what we're doing is this, and
Right.
this is what we're going to start doing, and you need to walk in your excellence, and I'm going in, right? Like you said, the
Yes.
higher self is now speaking, and I call it like that's my auntie voice, right? I'm
Right.
talking to myself the way that loving auntie would talk to you. So I'm firm, but I'm also loving. And then, I'll connect dots to my history. Like, okay, you're behaving this way because this happened. But right now you've overcame that. Like, but the asking the question, that's powerful
Yeah.
because I always say, we know us, we know our history, we have the answers. Everything we need is within us. So to ask myself a question, that's a game changer right there. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
because you'll get like it's like structured. It's like it's an unstructured thing, both audio and written, but it's
Yeah.
like you at least you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can like steer the conversation a little bit to get
Yes.
clarity in certain aspects. But I love that you got that clear audience. I think it's called clear audience going on, where you know what I mean, where you can hear it coming through. And that's like, and me,
Yeah.
I forget things, so then I write down what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go back and be like, oh, okay, that's what it was.
Yeah. So that's why I label my audio so I can go back and listen to them.
That's
And
smart. I
then,
like that.
but that happens to me too when I dance. Like messages
Mhm.
will come to me when I dance. So I always keep a journal nearby when I dance. So, because again, I forget too. I'm
Yes.
like, that was a word, but I don't know what it was. Okay. I'm forever changed, but I don't know why.
Right, exactly. Or I hate when it happens that I'm about to fall asleep. I start fussing. I'm like, now why would you do this right now?
For real. I'm
Why
like,
would you
you're
start this
talking
right
too
now?
much. It's bedtime.
Yes, I'm going night night.
I'm like, damn, but that's when the notes on the phone come in handy. But it's still
Yes.
like it's not the same as writing it down. Like,
Right.
but I'd be doing it anyways because I'm like, I'm not fit to sit here trying to turn this light on, get this
No, and
journal,
I'm
and
not gonna
write it
get
out.
up and get my drink. I just grab my phone all mad, like off the
Yeah,
headboard.
message
Right.
received.
Exactly.
So there's this new concept that I'm learning about, and it's called intuitive business, right?
Mhm.
And so what does it mean? Let's educate. You can educate me and the audience. What does it mean to have an intuitive audience, and how does that differ from traditional goal setting when it comes to? I said intuitive audience, huh? Intuitive
What you
business,
meant.
intuitive business, and how does that differ from the traditional goal setting jobs? I mean, model.
Right. So when I think of an intuitive business model, let me take it back to non-intuitive. So when you think of business, right, like the top three things are like sales, marketing, profit.
Hmm.
And there's a strategy to all three of those. There's a strategy to get profit, which is the sales, and there's a marketing strategy behind it. And so when I was first starting business, I was a strategy hopper, right? So I was
Yeah,
like, okay, I see this person doing this, I'm gonna jump on that. I see this person doing this and it's successful, I'm gonna jump on that, right? And what I came to realize is I was like, all of these strategies work. And so
yeah,
what's the difference between like following a strategy and then following an intuitive strategy is figuring out which strategy works for you. And so when it comes to like an intuitive business model, the intuitive business model is about connecting with yourself within, connecting with your higher self, whether it's through writing, through meditation, through, speaking out loud, whatever, and figuring out what is my exact strategy
yes,
in my business, right? So that you can like follow through on it, remain consistent, all of that. And so for me, an intuitive business model is simply like checking in before the decisions, right?
got
You,
you. Yeah,
instead of going to like, I love coaches. I mean, I'm one of them, right? Like, I love coaches, I love business mentors, I love all of that. But then, like, being so in tune that you find the one that aligns with you and not just looking like, okay, well, they had their 6-figure launch and I want a 6-figure launch. So I'm gonna go
yeah,
follow them. And then you're all jacked up inside because it's not even the right business model,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's not in alignment with what you
Right.
have going on. Yeah. And
Excuse
then a lot of times coaches, people, we're human, right? So
me. Right.
sometimes if we care about you, our fears will tie into the advice that we're giving you when in reality, you know your history, you know what's best for you, you know what you're capable of. I
Exactly.
like that.
And you
Yes.
know exactly like what blocks you have to uncover. And sometimes you don't know them right away. And I've had mentors bring that out of me. I had a wonderful mentor earlier this year, and I remember I still laugh because she was like, you're in like the life coaching space, right? And girl, I bucked back so hard because I hadn't embodied that identity because I
Yeah.
wasn't on
Like
that
what?
level of intuition. I said, life coach. And
Life
she
what?
was like, and she goes, and you're a writer. And like, I am a writer. And for whatever reason, like those things made me so uncomfortable. But it was because I hadn't really dove into that level of the intuition to get into like the embodiment and the identity and all of
Yes.
that. So my business model had not yet been rooted intuitively. It wasn't until I started creating like meditation specific for business that then I was
Mhm.
able to get specific guidance that was catered to like what my business was. Once I did that, then I was like, okay, now I know why XYZ didn't work,
Yes.
who I'm supposed to follow, who I'm connected. You know what I mean? Whose advice
Yeah.
I'm supposed to take and like what I'm supposed to do. It's been it's been smooth sailing in the sense of being able to remain consistent. It's
Yes.
been challenging in even if an intuitive business, you still have upper limits you have to break. And
Yes.
so it's still uncomfortable at times,
Yes.
but at least you're on the right track.
Yes. Yes. Because you're on your track, not someone else's, or not someone who cared about you, but it wasn't advice that was for you. That's
Exactly.
awesome. I like that a lot. So, what would you say to people who are struggling to trust themselves?
I love that question. That's so good. So, the biggest thing I really see with people who struggle to trust themselves is we don't take time to tell ourselves yes in the micro moments. And that's why
Mhm.
we don't trust ourselves. So, think about how many times we're like, I'm thirsty, but then we put off getting a drink of water.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so now the body has learned not to trust itself. Now you're learning not to trust yourself because you're not following your basic instincts. And as moms, I'm a mom. I know I can't always go run and get a drink of water every
Yeah.
single time. But as long as I can collapse the time between like being thirsty and then getting the drink of water, then that's building a little bit of self-trust. The other thing is
Yeah.
like in the micro moments, we have big goals, right? We have like a lot of things that we want to accomplish, and we can see a big picture. But we don't trust ourselves to get to the big picture because in the little moments we're like denying ourselves water, denying ourselves
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
denying ourselves rest, right? And so I always tell people who struggle with self-trust, like, what are little commitments you can make to yourself throughout the day to show yourself that you're like listening, and that you're in tune with your body, and that you're listening to what you're being told internally. So I always use a water example as one, but another one too is like, you're wanting to get up earlier and you're like, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. and hit the gym every morning. Well, okay, maybe that, like, yes, it's realistic, but maybe it's a lot right now. How can we break that down into micro trust?
Yes.
Can we just
Yes.
get up at 6 a.m. every morning? Or maybe we can commit to body movement every morning and build that trust muscle
Yes.
and then expand on it. So anybody struggling with self-trust, like, take the bite-sized things that we think don't
Yes.
matter because that's actually what
Girl,
builds it.
that is awesome. Because
Girl,
listen, bite size to me was like, I'm gonna get back to my 5:30 a.m.
right.
and I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna journal and I'm gonna make my tea. That was bite size, but that's not bite size enough. It's I'm
Right.
still choking over here.
No, exactly. And that's a whole like overhaul. And that's like, I was
Yeah.
guilty of the same thing where I was like, okay, I'm gonna work out every single day and I'm gonna get up at 6:30 every single day and I'm gonna start my day with a journaling ritual and then I'm gonna exercise and then, I'm gonna get the kids ready and stuff. Well, like, life doesn't always happen like that.
Yeah.
Like, if
Yeah.
I'm up at 6:30, all of a sudden the kids are waking up earlier. I'm like, where'd you
Yeah,
come
because
from?
that's what be happening. I'm like, it's supposed to be my time. Damn it. Damn.
Like, where'd you come from? So then I started playing around with like micro things. And I'm like, okay, well, if we can't commit to that, can we commit to journaling for 20 minutes a day and body movement? And then, yeah, we can. And then, like, now I trust myself to follow through on what I'm saying. So then I believe
Yeah.
that these bigger things are going to come to me too.
I love that. I love that so much because the reality is, if you think about it, if somebody else, if you say I'm thirsty and somebody don't bring you the water when they said they would, you would have trust issues with them. But we don't think
Right.
about that with ourselves. You know what I mean? Well, they're not dependable. I asked them
Right.
for some water and this and that. They said they were gonna bring it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
in our mind, it's like they're not dependable. So we can't depend on ourselves to take care of ourselves because we're not doing that. Girl, I do it all the
Exactly.
time. I
Yeah.
went half the day without eating. Like not
Right.
today, but like the day before, all the things it happens. Water, eating vitamins, my ashwagandha.
Yeah.
It has to happen.
No, exactly. Even like for me, right? Like my greens, that's a daily commitment. Like I have the greens from Arbonne, and I have like a daily commitment to take my greens. And then it's like when I start slipping on them, I'm like, okay, hold on. Like this is just a micro commitment. Like why are
Mhm.
we denying ourselves something so
Yes.
small? That's also building like now I don't trust me to follow through on 7 days
Mhm.
worth of greens. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
once I caught that, then it was like, okay, it takes 5 minutes. It
Yes.
takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, but it like the impact is life changing.
Yes. I love that so much. That girl, I'm sitting here like mind blown. Cause I'm telling you, I tell people bite size.
Yeah.
Girl, bite size wasn't bite size though. Bite size was a snack.
She says so bite size was the appetizer.
Right? We need like in those fancy restaurants where they have that little tiny, it's a pea
You
on the
need
plate.
the little sample platter is what you're looking for.
Now every time I treat myself with water, I'm gonna be like, Nikki, let's help
Yes.
me.
You're like, this is my self-trust.
I'm taking care of myself.
Exactly. And you'll see like a difference. I remember when somebody broke that down to me like that years ago. I was like, that's it. You're telling me that's all I gotta
Girl,
do?
because I'm about to start tonight. What you mean?
Right? Like I can start right now. I'm thirsty
No,
right
for
now.
real. I was watching this video and it was talking about how when we get so I believe overthinking is a superpower, but sometimes it acts as a weakness. And I
Yes.
believe when it comes in a weakness, this is what they were talking about on TikTok. It was saying that when you overthink, you don't trust yourself. So you're trying to work out all these different scenarios so that you can control
Right.
the situation. Where
Mhm.
I do feel like in some ways those are good backup plans. So you know what I mean? You
Right.
got a plan if some shit fails. But if you're like going down this spiral and you didn't like you overthought the overthought, you know what I mean?
Right. You're all
It's
the way to
like
plan B.
yeah, so it's like you don't trust yourself to get through that situation on your own. You don't trust yourself to just be and live life and think on your feet and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, that's deep. And
Yeah.
I was like, damn, so where does your self-trust lie? And I have seen some friction there. There are days where I'm like, hell yeah, girl, we doing this shit.
Right. Exactly.
And then there's like, well, I don't know.
The doubts creep in. No, and
Yeah.
like the other thing I'll say about self-trust is it really lies in like the now. What do I
Mhm.
need to do right now? Because all we have is now. And I'm reading that book, The Power of Now. And he talks about like how the mind will, try to get ahead, which is what overthinking is. Like you said, trying to get ahead, trying to control a situation, trying to plan. And so like the mind does that. And we have to like remind our mind to come back to the body and be like, no,
Yes.
that like that's a maybe in the future. All we have is right now. Like, what can we do
Yes.
right now?
Yes.
And as
I
long as
love
you
that.
do like the now, you'll build the self trust because you'll always be in the now to continue to trust yourself right now. And then the now just keeps going on and on.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I love that. That was a message, you guys. I think we've done enough here. We can
I'll take your notes on
okay.
that. We're good.
Right, did y'all write that down? Did you write down? But so speaking on that, right? So self-trust has, that gives you helps you to reach different levels and to tap deeper into your spiritual
Yes.
connection. And so how has that shaped the way you move in life, the way you parent, the way you are as a wife, as a friend? How has that shaped those things for you?
It's still shaping them, girl. It's still shaping them.
Yes, of
But
course, yes.
it's still shaping them.
Constantly growing and developing.
Yes, but for me, like, if I think about me as a mom, it helps it's a twofold process, right? When things are overstimulating, my kids are 5'3" and I'm sorry, 5'2" and 1. They're almost 6'3" and 2, but they're 5'2" and 1, and then, my bonus daughter is 9. And so in moments when it's overstimulating and, I feel like, "How am I even gonna get through this?" Everybody's whining or, the toddlers both need something at the same time, or I feel like I'm failing one by tending to one of the other ones.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. That's a big issue that I deal with is I remind myself, like, for one, all we have is right now. This is a moment in time. But then also, like, to understand that I'm going through a human experience reminds me that they're also going through a human
Yes.
experience. And so,
Exactly.
so like they're experiencing life for the first time the same way that I am, and they're learning how, what their environment is and their surrounding is that's going to shape their future. And so
Yes.
while I hold a lot of that obviously in my responsibility, I'm responsible for their childhoods at the end of the day.
Yes.
I also know that whatever happens is going to shape them into adulthood. And so on the overstimulation side, I'm like, it's only right now. It's just a moment in time. And then on the happy sides, when you're like loving them and you're watching how smart they're getting and how much they're growing and stuff,
Yes.
it's the same thing. It's like, okay, soak it in because this is only right now.
Yes.
That's forever. And so that's kind of how I see it for me is like really trying to zone into that now and thinking like, okay, when they look back at being the ages that they are now, what are they going to remember? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, what did I set up right now that they can carry with them as a memory into the
Mhm.
future? And I am not perfect with that. There are plenty of moments where I'm like, I've ruined them. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're ruined. But for the most part, like it's always just like zoning back to the now and then remembering like that human experience and realizing like the biggest thing for me was I was always worried that I wouldn't be able to trust myself as a mom.
Yeah.
And doing this work has allowed me to trust myself as a mom, but also trust the mistakes that I make as a mom
Yes.
instead of like beating myself up for them.
Yes.
That's where I recognize like, okay, this is a mistake that I made, but they also have to see that because they're having an experience and my
Mhm.
mistakes are part of shaping their experience.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. That's a beautiful thing, and I think that's something that we all have to remember, right? Is they're just experience, they have emotions and things going on in their mind and body
Right.
just like we have things going on in our mind and body. And I think that sometimes that's missed, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
exactly.
Well, they didn't do what I told them to do. Okay, well, at that
Exactly.
moment in their mind, this video game is the most important thing. This high
Right.
score, is the most
Right.
important thing, and so it's like having a conversation with them, but also like you said, giving yourself grace, right?
And
Because you're human too.
exactly. And like you said, to them, this is the most important thing. And like maybe fussing because they're not listening and stuff. One of the things that like the spiritual journey has made me realize, I'm like, how many times did I myself, as a full grown adult, get a download, an intuitive download, a message from God, and I didn't listen? You know what I mean? And I was
Yeah,
still given the opportunity to try it again and to try it
yeah,
again and to
yeah.
try it again. And
That's
so
so
I like
deep.
try to extend that same grace to my kids because I'm like, I'm their parent. Like, of course they're not supposed to listen right now. Like, they
Yeah,
don't see the big picture like I do. I remember when my
exactly.
oldest was like 2. I thought about this in terms of prayer because I was like, man, like you're over here like praying for things or wanting to manifest something and it feels like it's taking forever, right? Like I'm sure you've experienced where it's like
Yes.
I'm
I'm
like, where
impatient as fuck.
yeah, I'm like, where is it? I'm waiting. So
Right?
I remember I was making my son some eggs and he's in his high chair and he's whining, like he's whining, he's whining. And I'm like, it's almost done. Like, what are you
Yeah.
whining about? But I, as the adult, can see that it's almost done. It just
Yes.
needs cool, harden, whatever. He doesn't see that. And when I thought about that in like my spiritual journey and how it reflected in parenting, I was like, this makes sense because
Yeah.
like higher self, God, whatever, you believe in source, they see the big picture. We're the
Yes.
toddlers thinking like, how come it's not how I'm hungry?
Yeah.
Like, where is it? And they're like, it's
Yeah.
cooling down, or
Yeah.
it's almost ready.
Bro.
Yes. But it feels like eternity.
I know. And we even be like, I know you see me making this bottle. Like,
Yes,
I see it,
exactly.
but when's it gonna be ready?
Exactly. I tell my 1-year-old that all the time. I'm like, you see, it's like heating up. Hold
Like,
on.
you can be meal prepping. I don't know, damn it.
Yes. And then I'm like, dang, I do that. Like I do that in prayer. Like, okay, I asked you for this
Yeah.
yesterday. Where is it?
Yes. I need it immediately. You see this
Right.
need? I know you see this need.
Right.
No, that makes total sense, and that's a beautiful way to think of things because I don't know, like we just be wanting immediate. Like I said, pick that up, do it
Instant
now. You know what I mean?
gratification.
But it's like
Yeah.
we don't do it now. I
Right.
really try to think about myself, like how do I move? Because I
Right.
honestly I know me. You do what you feel. I know the dishes need to be done, but am I gonna do it right away?
Probably
No.
not. Right.
Yeah.
Like exactly.
I try to keep that dishwasher loaded up, but is it always loaded up? No, the dishes
No,
get put in the
right.
sink
That's
sometimes.
my
You know what I mean?
laundry. Yeah, I'll fold them, but am I gonna put them away right now? Probably not. They're probably gonna sit cold
Yeah.
in the basket for a day or two.
Yeah. And I've learned to give myself grace. So it's about learning to give, your kids grace, give your spouse grace. Like that
Yeah,
was the big thing for me too, is like, I'm at home with the kids all day. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And so
yeah.
you're expecting help, but it's like, okay, but they are actually, I was as a stay-at-home mom, right? They're
Right,
going out into the world, being stressed
right,
by other people.
right,
And, so it's like giving everyone some sort of grace because they're not supposed to just move when you say move. You know
right.
what I mean? It's like it's a feeling thing. It's gonna happen eventually. You just gotta be a little
No,
patient.
exactly. But everybody's having their own experiences. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Their own reality.
Yes, and I think that's a beautiful thing is like we're all, a friend of mine, he goes, we're all a different like say planet. We're all a different
Yeah,
world. So
yeah.
in my world, this is what's going on in my world. You have no idea what's going on in the next person's world. I don't know what's going on in
Right.
my son's mind. I
No,
can, you know,
exactly.
I'm his mom, and so I can guesstimate and all the things, but I don't know what is going on in there. So if I say,
Right.
go pick this up, and I'm mad because he won't go pick it up, like he
Right.
could be going through something in his mind, like, like his
Yeah.
phone just broke. He's mad because his phone broke. Maybe he's still sad about that. I don't
Right.
know. But like you said, we're all having our own experience in life, perceiving things differently and feeling different things. And in some areas, we might be weaker in emotional regulation. In some moments, we're on
Yeah.
top of it, like with different feelings. So it's cool to think about it in that way because it helps you to be more chill.
Right.
Because
No,
when
exactly.
you
And I
overstimulate and you be ready to, like I
yes.
said,
I said what I said. No, exactly. And I had to remind myself that too. I was like, I don't show up perfect every single day. You know what I mean? I don't show up
yeah,
100% happy every single day. So like why would I expect my kids to not have a bad day? Or why would I expect them to like,
yeah,
always be smiling and cheery? Like sometimes people just wake up mad.
yeah.
Every once in a while it happens.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that a lot because I feel like it's deeper. Like I used to have those thoughts when I was a new parent. Um, I would have those thoughts, but it wasn't as deep as this. And I love connecting it to the children because I usually just
Right.
I do I think about my babies, but I usually think
Right.
about it in adults because like they could actually explain to me what's going on in their mind. Whereas my son tries because he's very observant and very like
Yeah.
aware of his emotions and stuff, but he's still a kid. He's still
Right.
7 years old. So
Right.
and being able to explain, he'd be like, Mom, I want to tell you, but I just can't explain it.
Yeah. No, exactly. I can't. And my son, his thing is like, he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, what is the feeling? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
And it's just he's 5, he's almost 6, but he's like, I don't know how to put it
yeah,
into words. Like, I just know I'm feeling something that I
yeah,
don't really like. And I remember trying to have that conversation with my parents when I was little, like having those, I looking back, it was probably anxiety, but having
yeah,
those feelings. And I was like, I don't know how to describe it. And it wasn't always met with like compassion. It was more met with like,
yeah. They
with
get
like frustration.
frustrated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, "What do you mean you don't know what you're feeling?" And I'm like, "Okay, well,
yeah.
I'm not saying anything anymore." You know?
Exactly. Because now you're attacking me because I don't know. Like,
Because
well,
I
now
don't
I
know,
can't
explain
share with you.
something. Yeah, so now I'm like, "I'll just stay quiet next time." Shoot.
Right? Shoot, I'll figure it out on my own.
Yes. And then it manifests into something else 30 years later.
My goodness. So, what does self care look like for you right now? Right now.
Ooh, right now, I know, right in this moment. That's a good one. Right now, I look like doing my hair. But,
I know I was gonna tell you it looks so good.
oh, thank you. For me, so doing the intuition stuff has actually led me on a journey to cut out alcohol for the next 6 months or more,
Awesome.
right? But at least 6
Yes.
months. And so that's a big part of what self-care has looked like. But because of that, I have to fill in that time. Figuring out what to fill in that time. So for me, it's like journaling in the evenings, coloring looks like self-care. Making a journal routine for the morning is something that I've done. Learning like how to tell my kids like, "Hey, give me 20 minutes, I'm gonna write."
Yes.
Like, that has been a huge self-care piece for me that had been missing for a long time. It's my greens, my Arbonne greens. That's my self-care, like little minuscule bite-sized things that I could fit in.
Mhm.
That's my self-care. My Arbonne Intercalm at the end of the night, like when I get all relaxed, I make my tea, I pop that in there. Like
Yes.
that's now my sleepy time, like, unwinding
Yes.
instead of a White Claw. But so that's a big one. And then like I've been really trying to get into skincare. I've been trying.
Mhm.
I still struggle with that, but I've been trying to get into skincare. And so like, I use like the Arbonne products and I, do my they have like the face wash that I use and stuff. So
Yes.
swapping out my time drinking with time to like write and connect with myself on a deeper
Mhm.
level, and then a lot of like swapping out like products that I was using and like learning about like new products or like
Yes.
healthy alternatives and stuff like that. That's been like a big self-care for me, but self-care, it varies day to day. My
Yeah,
like
of course.
mine, it has to, but like my non-negotiable self-care is like to have my journal time, to have my meditation, to drink my greens, and to get to the gym. And if I can't
Yes.
get to the gym, geez, if I can't get to the gym, then it's to stretch. But
Yes.
something that like moves my body, either
Move your body.
strengthens it or
Mhm.
you know what I mean, like prevents it from aging too fast, I should say.
Yes.
Those are
Yes.
like those are my big self-care things right now.
Yes. I
Like
love that.
have
I
more
love that.
time, it'll be like getting ready, getting dressed up, all of that, but that's like far and few in between. I'm usually
Yes.
hair in a bun, big t-shirt or whatever. And so I'm like,
Yes.
let's control what we can control. So all of my self-care is like the inner body, the spiritual body.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love that. That's similar to me. I'm working on my getting back to writing because like I said, I paused on writing for a while because I was
Yeah,
just I write my poems. Poems be popping, baby.
I
But
love
other
a
than
poem.
that, um,
Love a poem.
but getting back to journaling, getting back
Yeah.
to fitness. So I've been doing like walking around my apartment because girl, what it was I had to shift my mindset, right? Because I'm like, I can't dance because I don't have space at home. I can't create content because the aesthetics. I'm making
Yeah.
all these
I
excuses,
was
and I'm
on the
like,
same loop. I get it.
girl,
Yes.
I'm like, you can't do it the way you want to do it, but you can do it. Girl, I got
Right.
in the damn gym and I did a dance video in there.
Right.
Started walking around my apartment complex. I prefer to walk in nature, go on a trail or whatever. Just start walking around the apartment, doing laps around the apartment complex.
Right.
Even at nighttime because it's safe,
Right.
and it's cool.
That's good.
So like just like you said, making those intentional decisions to do what's best for me, and to take care of myself. So and then I haven't done them yet, but I do have like self dates I want to start doing because what I've been realizing is I have my not personalities, but I have myself sectioned off into like the three things, right? So
Right.
there's Deshay, she's very in your not in your face, but in your face,
Right.
very outgoing, very bubbly, whatever. There's Sophia, she's the more sensual, seductive side that's been tucked away for years because it's taboo, right?
Right.
And then there's Carter, right? And that's like the more nerdy, like dorky side of me, right?
Right.
And so I've been wanting to just date those different parts of me so that I can learn to accept them, but also so that I can learn to enrich those parts of me because there's parts of me that's still hidden to me, right? From
Right.
years of trauma, right?
Right.
So that's kind of what my self-love journey is looking like. My self-care journey is looking like just doing what I can to gently ease all of those together and be more self-accepting and self-trusting of
Yes.
those parts of me.
And I
Yeah.
love that because each part probably has a different need. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
each portion of you needs something different. And like I think of like women, we live our lives on cycles. And it's like, certain weeks we need to go like inward and be soft and
Yes.
sensible and really like grounded, and other weeks we're like go, 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 masculine energy, like you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm building an
Mhm.
empire today, and then other times it's like
Yes.
I'm gonna crawl under the covers. I'm gonna
Yes.
I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna eat my chocolate and I'm gonna relax.
Yes.
Both are self-care. It's so
Yes, exactly.
like the honoring of all those different parts. I love that. I love that you broke it down too into like the different pieces that are you.
Yes. So now if y'all ever hear me say Deshae Sophia Carter, y'all know why. Sophia got left behind a lot.
She
A
said, "I'm
lot,
done."
needed to be back. So that I literally have a section now on my poetry podcast called Sophia Unveiled. And it's like
Ooh.
more of the, more of the sexy sensual side. I
Yeah.
definitely want to do a photo shoot that's like that. And y'all know the oils are coming back. So even with the oils, I want her to have her own scent. So there'll be a
Yes.
Deshae scent, there'll be a Sophia scent, there'll be a Carter scent.
I love
Um, so and the Carter is gonna be like more masculine, and so I'm excited. I'm excited that I'm learning to embody these different parts of me and get to know them. And that's just going to show in those scents and in those photo shoots. So I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too. That sounds fun. And the dates, that reminds me of a book I'm reading. It's called The Artist's Way by
Uh-huh.
Julia Cameron, I think. And it's like a 12-week spiritual journey to get back to your creativity. So you have
Uh-huh.
different things that you do each week, but the two non-negotiables are to write 3 pages in a journal every morning, like in a free flow. And then the second one is to take yourself on a solo artist date every single week. And so like
Yes.
what you're doing is going to bring like that spiritual like the true essence and identity of who you are. I just love it.
Yes. Yes.
That could be a
Thank
whole
you.
other episode.
Girl, I know. Round two.
Right?
No, for real.
Next
But I love that because I went on ChatGPT because I wanted some special help.
ChatGPT.
I wanted to pick dates that would enhance those different parts of me, that would challenge me to
Yeah,
knock that wall down, right?
right.
Especially because in our culture, it's either you're either too sexual or not sexual enough. There's those people who are scared of being, you know what I mean? There's a
Yeah,
lot of that, and I'm like, I don't really care I don't want to care, right? I should say, I
right.
don't want to care about how other people view those parts of me, right? Whether I'm nerdy or just a cute face or nice body, whatever. I don't want to care about that. I want to know me because I
Right.
tucked that side away. So I went on ChatGPT and I was like, I need to go on self dates that are going to help me to get to know these different parts of me and to enrich my colors. I call it like finding my true colors, right? So,
Right.
I as the time goes on, I want to get to my richest color, which is getting to the core of me, but all 3 parts of me.
Right.
So I'm excited for these self dates to start popping off.
That'll be fun. I love that finding my true color. Girl, that's an Instagram series. You better start that. You better take us on
It is
a
because
journey.
the message that I received too from that one, the message that I received is this, right? Everyone's not going to get to see the richest color of me, right? They might get to see like the opaque or like, the sheer
Right.
color of me, but
Girl, and
no
some
one's going
people
to get
are
to
colorblind.
see, yes. But
Yeah.
the reality is I need to, everyone's not going to be deserving of having access to those richer colors of me. But that doesn't mean I don't show up
Right.
as me. That
Right.
just means there's boundaries that block them for getting to see the truest colors of me. And what I was doing before I had that awakening, I was I was tucking away sides of me, parts of me that they weren't worthy of. So
Right.
I was shrinking, still shrinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to remember, like, I'm not shrinking anymore. I'm big, beautiful Deshae. Boom.
Exactly.
Deshae
Period.
Sophia Carter.
Nice to meet you.
So I had to remind myself that there's boundaries for a reason, and that's what the boundaries do. They block off people from having access to those different levels of me. But that means still show up as me.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It doesn't
yeah,
right. There's a difference between hiding yourself versus just setting a boundary on like the access levels. You know what I mean?
yes,
You could still like I mean, think of like I don't know. This Area 51 is what came up to me because obviously it's like a big zone, but
yeah,
there's boundaries set. Like we can't go in there.
yes,
you know.
yes.
See,
So
and
I
that's my
the
nerdy
way
side.
yeah,
Coming on out.
Area 51. We're gonna have to talk about that too. That's
Right?
for the after hours. We're gonna talk about that on the after hours episode.
Exactly. What's really going on over there?
That's what we're gonna talk about that one. But the way it was revealed to me is like I have this tree, I have these roots, I have this big beautiful tree, and there's fruit on that tree, right? And
Yes.
so I am forbidden fruit because I did that forbidden fruit shoot. That's kind of the
Yes,
where it
exactly.
stemmed from, right?
Right.
Because I'm forbidden fruit. I can't allow everyone access to me, right? So
Right.
then there's these different gates, and whoever's in the inner gate, those are like my people,
Right.
but everyone else, like they're in different levels,
Right.
and that's just kind of how it came to me. Like I drew a picture of it. I love it. It's my little cutie. It's like up there. But like it came to me visually in that way. And like you said, it's still being, I'm still the big, beautiful tree with the fruit, but
Yes.
y'all back there, y'all not going to get to hear or even feel how powerful I am because these people closer to me have access to that.
Exactly.
So
And the
yeah.
fruit metaphor makes you think like, I mean, you can't nurture everyone, right? Like
Yeah.
people closest to you might feed off you a little bit and feed off that energy. You can't be accessible to everybody to be
Yeah.
able to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Because
I love
you'll wither up.
it. Exactly. There'll be no fruit left.
Yeah. She can't bear any more fruit. Sorry,
Sorry, she's
guys.
done.
She's just she's here for show now.
Oh man.
Oh shoot. Okay, so how do you build those sacred spaces, right? To journal. You have, like you said, you mentioned you have 4 kids and they're littles.
They're
So
little.
how do you create that space for you to journal or to reconnect with yourself?
So for me, in on the weekends is when it's a little bit more challenging, but I set my kids up with something to do for like 20-30 minutes, whether that's an activity, whether I let them have a little cartoon time. And like I'm just upfront with them. I'm like, mommy needs to write for 20 minutes. Like, I'll be done in 20 minutes. And so that one, the boundaries there, the toddlers don't always get it, but that, it's more so like just showing them like the non-negotiable that I'm allowed to have a little bit of sacred time to myself
Yes.
before we get everything done. We get up, I get the bottles, do the diaper changes, set up their activity, and then I'm like, okay, this is my time. My main sacred space though is actually in the shower and in my office. So
Yes. And yes.
I'm fortunate enough to have an office. So I have like all of my stuff set up there. Like that's where I do my journaling, that's where I work on my business, that's where I do my meditations, like all of that. And when all else fails, I do everything when they go to bed. That's the
Yeah.
only way that I can. I put them to bed. I put them to bed in the easiest way, like wherever if they need me to go to sleep. So I either try to like, put them in their room, or if it's just easier, they all want to sleep in the big bed, they call it, they can go in there. I have no problem
Yeah.
with it. And I leave and I have my time, like in the nighttime before my husband gets home. The other place though really is my showers. If
Yeah.
everything fails, then it's my
Yeah.
shower time. And I just sit and like I have gotten to where I used to listen to music in the shower all the time. And I've gotten to where I turn that off and I turn that into very intentional time to where like I just picture like as I'm showering, I just picture like the water like washing away all the parts of me
Yeah.
like that I don't need, like a cleansing and stuff. And that's where a lot of my downloads come in. Is
Yeah.
just from like turning off the music and being intentional and like letting it be like my moment to
Yes.
meditate, to cleanse and stuff, without making a big deal about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just
Yeah.
like I'm like, I have to do this anyways. Let's be
Yes.
intentional. Let's just let this be our moment to relax. And that's how
Yes.
I started to look at my showers. And ever since, like now all my ideas, my things I like am jumbled up all of a sudden make sense when I'm in the shower and stuff. So that has been like a
Yeah.
huge game changer during the seasons where they're not going to bed on time. They're up early. They're on me. Work's busy, busy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
during
Yeah. No, for real.
at the very least, shower time, sacred time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. It's same for me. Like same for
Yes.
me. And it's because God, I'll be in there for hours because there's something about like if I'm in my office, I love my office. It's my sacred space too. Like I have all my vision. This is like a vision wall at this point.
Yeah.
All my artwork is up here. Everything is in here, right? The energy is me in here,
Right.
right? But my kids are they come in here and they go, Mom, I'm just coming to check on you. Mom, I'm just coming to check on you.
Yes.
And we do it often. And then like if they need the password put in on the TV and like, so there's
Yes.
still interruptions, but they will not interrupt me in the shower.
Right.
So in the shower, I do. I do listen to my music because I get downloads from listening to my music.
No, that's
Girl,
perfect. I love
I be
music.
dancing and singing in the shower, and so I'm like, that's like it's like a confidence boost because I'm like, girl, you did this so easily right now. You can do it here, and then that's when the message comes, right? I
Right.
start pouring into myself. You know what I mean? Just reminding myself of who I am and what I'm capable of and what I want, and then that's when here comes that damn audio journal. And I'm like, oh, you need to write this down. And
Right.
so I'll turn on the audio journal, pause the music, turn on the audio journal, and then I start speaking it.
Yeah.
And it just, like you said, it just pours back into me what I need,
Yeah.
because it's hard out here with these kids.
No, it is. It is. And they like, especially when they don't understand, like they don't know they don't know what an interruption is. You heard me try to send you a voice note. It's like 1 minute voice note and like 3, 4
Girl,
times they're trying to talk.
same, same. And they think they feel like they have the right? They know
Right.
my kids know to say excuse me. They
Mine
come
too.
in, they got the whole, they got the whole conversation. I'm like, I know you see me on this phone. I'll go,
Right.
and they'll
And
go,
then who are you talking
yeah.
to?
And then I'm like, you see me. You
Yes.
see me. You know what this means.
Yes, exactly. No, exactly. And they're so impulsive. But I
Yes.
like that I still like that you put on the music though and do the audio journal. I do need to get back to like singing in the shower. So I might have to set my days. Like, do I feel like
Yeah.
listening or
Or
do
do
I feel
half and
like
half.
verbalizing? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the other thing too, because you are getting back into singing. Y'all don't know this, but we have private conversations. You're
Right.
getting back into singing, and that's what's helped me too, is like that's when I'm practicing the different singing, and like I be in there like I'm Beyonce. I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm
Yeah.
like modeling, up against the wall and shit. And I'm
Right.
doing all this stuff. Like girl, to the point where I thought about doing a shower series in a swimsuit. But I'm like, no, Deshae, you can do this outside the shower. You just need to do
Yes.
it. Like, stop
Exactly.
hindering yourself.
You don't have to
But
limit
you know
yourself to the bathroom. But the acoustics were so good in there.
right? They're like, she's just doing this for show. No, it's
Right.
the but no, it is a good place, a really comfortable place to reconnect with your voice. To
Yes.
reconnect with your voice, and that's levels, right? It's not just as a singer, it's like reconnecting with your voice, reconnecting with the power your voice has, and being able to present that to the world when you speak, because you are a speaker.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That talking voice. And the thing I do like about the bathroom, like I said, is like that echo back. So you get to hear it too a little bit. You know what I mean? You get to hear
Mhm.
like the power come back and all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, awesome. So if you could give an intuitive message to the audience right now, what message would that be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Focus on the now. Everything everything that you want to achieve, that you want to accomplish, whether it's life goals, business goals, whatever it is, like personal goals of like changes you want to make to yourself, everything is really in what you're doing right now. So be intentional with the now.
Yes,
That would be my guidance right there.
yes,
Because
I
that
love
history,
that.
future is not here, and the past is
Yeah,
not here. We have
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. One of the affirmations that come to me when I get like all over the place is just be. Just
Yes.
be. You have the knowledge, you have the skill, you're fully fucking capable. That's the affirmation that I love too. You're fully fucking capable. So just be. Allow yourself to be, allow yourself to experience life
Yes.
and make the decisions with your intellect and your intuition, and just be.
And ask
Right here.
yourself, one of the biggest things like for me with being was asking myself like, let's say it's business, right? How does seven-figure Nikki respond? Right? And then
Mm,
embodying that right now. Like even if
I
it's not
love
here
that.
yet, embodying that right now. Like how does she move? How does she dress right now? And
Yeah.
like bringing like that the future into the now.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So I have a Pinterest board that has it's a collection of that, right?
Right.
Who I am, like what I want, right?
Right.
What I'm working towards, basically my why, right? What I'm working towards, but it's like a visual of that. But asking that question, like after building that board, I know what's in there. I've seen it visually. I
Right.
remember it. I'm a visual person. So asking myself is like, it's like a further step. It's like, okay, we done made the board. Now what we gonna do about it? What's the
Right.
action? What's
Yes.
the action? And so I love that. Ask yourself that question, embody it, and move.
And move, just move
Move.
from that energy. That's all it
Yeah.
is, energy. We're just waiting on like reality to catch up,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's just an energy frequency.
Yeah, yeah, and just move. I love that. I love that a lot. So, what is next for you? What's coming up for you?
So I am about to reopen my membership. That's a big one. I'm reopening the Scribe Society membership, which is a place for women to come and learn like identity, intuition, business energetics, or the intuitive side of business, and just really get like some hands-on spiritual life coaching and intuitive business mentoring.
Yes.
I'm gonna open that back up in September, and we're gonna do weekly trainings inside of there. So that's coming back in September. We'll be doing weekly trainings, and we'll go like in depth with like writing practices and stuff like that to really just start a transformation or move through the transformations. So that's big. I just launched my podcast. So that is on Beyond the Script. It is
Yes.
on Apple and Spotify and Amazon.
Yes.
So that one is up. So that one that just came out like a couple weeks ago. So that is brand new right now. And then I actually re-signed on with Arbonne. So I have Arbonne for like the holistic wellness and things like that. That like
Yes.
it just goes so it just aligns so well with the intuitive journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I have that, and I'm working on building a team, building a team there. So those are like the top three things that are going on
Yes.
right now.
Yes. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. And like you said, there's that alignment because Arbonne, their standards are different than America's standards, correct?
Yeah, they go by European standards. So I believe it's over 2,000 not products, but like things I'll say that we allow into our products here in the States that Europe has banned, they have also banned it. So like the makeup, for example, doesn't have certain things that American makeup has. The protein is set to a different standard, and they're certified B Corp, which I didn't know what that means, but really they like until I joined, but they really like take care of the planet and are really about renewing
Yes.
like renewable energy and stuff like that. And I guess it's very hard to get certified, but they do have that certification. And then their commission structure is just great. Like
Yes.
I love their commission structure because you can get paid just referring products that you love, or building a team of
Yeah.
people who also want to refer products that they love. And I just think like,
Exactly.
my friend told me, she's like, you share stuff anyways online, like of things you like.
Might as well.
She's like, yeah, she's like, why don't you share this? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and I love this. Like, so I've been with them for 3 years, and I like just launched the business side. So that's exciting.
Yes. That's awesome. I'm so excited for all these new beginnings. I'm excited for those classes, those
Yeah.
weekly classes. That's going to be super amazing because again, like I've already learned a lot just from this 50 minutes, you know what I mean? So just imagine what doing it weekly would look like.
Right.
That's awesome. I'll put a reminder on my phone because I'll forget.
Don't worry, I'll send the email out like when it's about to
Yes.
like when it's gonna reopen, and then with the weekly schedule. Right now it's looking like Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time is when we'll meet
Okay.
every Thursday. And then we'll do like an art therapy once a month or something.
Yeah. Yes. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. So what's next for Carter Love? So you guys, next month we're going to be doing Friday nights after hours. So it'll be called the Carter Love Talk Show After Hours. I'm super excited. I've been wanting to do this. I wanted to launch them at the same time, y'all. It's more laid back, right? So it's like more like conversational, less interviewee type, but it's still going to be like great conversation, great learning, and all the things. It's just going to be more freestyle, more laid back. We might be eating and chilling in pajamas. You never know. And it's going to be multiple. So it's not, instead of just having two of us, it'll be like 4 or 5. We can go up to 6 members. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be still here on YouTube after hours on Friday nights. And then in the fall, in November, the Beautifully Imbalanced podcast is coming back. That podcast is all about um, trauma and healing your history. And I utilize therapy, but I also have picked up other tools that help. So I teach about those tools. We talk about boundaries. We talk about grief. We talk about all sorts of things like that. Sometimes people ask me questions and I answer them in a full podcast episode. So that's coming back in November. So I'm super excited about that. That will be Wednesday night. So then you're going to have us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. So I'm super excited about those relaunches. And then next month, the oils. So the oils are in plastic right now. They will be relaunching in glass because they're better for you that way. Not to mention it, y'all know I'm a storyteller. It it enhances the product, right? You're getting there's lovely ingredients in there, loving ingredients that enhance your body and your mind and your connection to yourself and your partner. And the glass just enhances that for you because it protects the product inside of there, whereas plastic, it kind of leaches chemicals. So so we're getting away from that because I didn't put natural stuff in the bottle in the oils for y'all to just end up getting chemicals anyway.
Right. Love the glass. That'll be
So
such a fun upgrade.
yes. And then so holiday season's coming up. So I'm creating all these cute little baggies for you guys with your purchase, right? So I make these I found these cute little buttons. There's me on there, but there's 5 different ones. You're gonna want to collect them all. And so they're gonna be a gift with purchase. So it's a lot to think about, but baby, it's coming. That means you just need to stay in touch with me and Nikki.
Yes. All the good stuff coming for Q4.
All the good stuff coming before the year is up, you guys.
Yes.
So I'm excited for all of these new things, these new beginnings that are happening for both of us. Um, would you like to give us your quote that gets you through the days?
Ooh, I feel like I have so many. There's one that's the background on my phone. And now I can't even think of what it says. So I'm gonna go with the other one. It says something about, oh, that's what it was. That the best version of yourself is not a destination, but a choice we make in everyday moments.
Yes,
That has been like allowing me to stick with the now, followed by progress over perfection. That's been like a
yes,
game changer,
yes,
especially with like, my not drinking journey and stuff. I'm coming up on 40 days. So it's like, all of that, like progress over perfection and choosing to be the best version in every moment instead of just waiting for her to, instead of waiting to become her.
yes, yes, yes. That is so real. That is so real. All right, you guys. So before we close out, I have to do the affirmations. Remember that you are worthy, 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 worthy always. You are worthy of trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. You are worthy of taking the time to let your intuition speak to you. You are worthy of being present and all that comes from being present. Experiencing your loved ones around you, actually experiencing what your body is feeling and what that's telling you, receiving those messages. You are worthy of those messages. You are worthy of the connections that come from just being present, from living in the now. You are so, so, so worthy. Ultimately, you are worthy of unconditional self love and unconditional self care. Until next time, my loves, thank you for watching the Carter Love Talk Show. Bye bye.